All right, you guys, thank you so much for popping on tonight for our Wednesday Wealth and Wellness opportunity. I am trying to mute all of you guys. If you could go ahead and just double check on your end and make sure you are muted, that would be amazing, either on your computer or on your phone. But Jessica and I are so excited to be here with you guys tonight. So let me just pull up our slides and we're going to get ready to rock and roll. It's crazy. You hit mute all, but it doesn't work. Will you guys just do me a favor, please, as you are popping on and mute your lines? I would love it forever and ever. So thank you guys so much for popping on. It is a joy to be here tonight. My name is Lauren Sims, and I have the privilege and honor of sharing this webinar with one of my dear friends, Jessica Rigner, who not only is an industry leader and just an incredible speaker, but she's also one of my dearest friends. So she's going to be chatting with you guys later on tonight. As always, just know that we will always protect our company no matter what we say. We do not treat, we don't diagnose, we don't make claims. Okay, so whether we're talking about the products or the business, just know that we educate and you decide, and we support no matter what that is. So the first thing I want to do before we get into anything tonight is just talk to you a little bit about this company. Some of you got on here tonight knowing that it was about Isagenix. Some of you may not have, and that's okay. But before we can tell you about the products, or before we can tell you about this incredible opportunity, let's chat about this company. And I love Isagenix for so many reasons, but the things I want to highlight tonight is more than 300 people have earned a cumulative of 7 figures. That's amazing. Over $1 million, over 300 people have done that. We have been growing steadily for over 18 years. We have done over $7 billion. We're currently active in 14 countries. We're a global company. Millions of lives have been impacted. We're privately held, responsibly run. We have no operational debt. And we have the Cougars. I always just say, outside of the culture and outside of the compensation plan, we have the Cougars. And I heard them described the best today I've ever heard, which is like, imagine a mom and pop company behind a multiple billion-dollar industry. Like, it's incredible. So I want to just chat with you right now. As you're popping on, double check that your lines are muted, please. But who would agree that we are experiencing extreme stress? Right? I mean, like, more stress than normal, whether you're homeschooling little kids, maybe you've lost your job, but over 6 million Americans have filed for unemployment in the last few weeks. There are some really astonishing statistics going around right now, but I've heard recently that 3% of all restaurants have closed and will not be opening back up, and that could be up to 11%. When you're looking at just what's happening with people's health, with people's sleep, with people's stress, this is not necessarily to like scare you as much as like to bring awareness of what's happening in the environment today. When I open up Facebook, it's hard to not see the post that people have anxiety, that people have fear, that they had another restless night's sleep. And that's because this pandemic has affected every single one of us. It's a global issue. There was recently an article that talked about 7 in 10 Americans. You guys, that's 70% of people have experienced more stress since the outbreak. And 1 in 3 are saying that the number one cause of the stress is because of this outbreak. And what we want to chat with you tonight is how stress can affect our bodies. So you probably have heard that some of us overeat when we're stressed, right? If you are someone who, when you're stressed, you get the munchies, like, right in the chat box, because you are not alone, okay? But you also have probably heard that there's people that undereat. And that's actually me. Like, if I get super stressed because I'm worried about things, or I fall into like the work, kind of routine, I bury myself in that. I'm someone who can easily skip meals. And I'm like, oh my gosh, it's 6 o'clock at night and I haven't eaten anything. If you guys can relate to that, I want you to type in the chat box. And outside of our emotional eating, stress can affect the way we hold on to weight. If it increases our cortisol, it can affect our sleep, and it can actually decrease your immune system. So when you think about what are the things that are not what we're used to right now, okay? We're inside more than we've ever been. We might be surrounded by people that we're not used to being around, right? We don't have the community that we're used to having. And we have to be able to combat this. We have to be able to say, okay, I'm in control, right? I can handle this. And what are the things that I'm in control of? So one of the things one of the things that I just want to jump to right now is I believe we all have more time. Now, recently, there are some people that have maybe argued with that because they're like, okay, well, I didn't used to have my kids all day home with me doing homeschooling while I was trying to work my business. Or, okay, maybe I wasn't used to not commuting or whatever it may be. But when I look at time and I look at all of our schedules, for me personally, even the time driving to and from the gym, driving to and from coffee appointments, when I look at like my fiance's schedule and the time that he was driving to and from volleyball practice, right? To and from different sporting tournaments of the kids, I believe that we all have a little bit more time right now. I will tell you, to be totally transparent, I'm sleeping in later than I've ever slept in. I think I've spent the last 2 decades getting up at like 4 or 5 in the morning because I was like, I gotta go. I have to hit the ground running. I have to be at a 5 a.m. gym class or 6 a.m. gym class, and then showered and ready and at this meeting, and I drove all around. Can anybody relate to that? And now I'm kind of like, the hour that I would drive to and from the gym because I just have to go downstairs in my basement, I'm gonna sleep. For me, like I'm catching up on like 2 decades of lack sleep. For other people, they're handling it a little bit different. But I want you to think about how you're handling this other time. And it may or may not be by this very, very popular show, right? That's not necessarily how we recommend it. Or if you look at what's happening in terms of alcohol sales, like people are drinking more. And that's not to shun anybody. I know I've had more frequent glasses of wine not having to get up as early, but like, how can we restructure that? How can we actually recreate the time that we have into a way that's a little bit more productive? And I want to begin asking you, if you could achieve anything during this crisis and you knew you couldn't fail, what would it be? Right? During this time, if you could achieve anything and not fail, what would you do? And I mean, if you want, write down some goals. Like one of the like crazy things that I'm going to try and do that I've never done is my own little herb garden, right? Like what's the worst thing that can happen? But imagine in July, if I have my own cilantro and my own chives and my own mint and my own rosemary. So I'm like, I'm going for it. I've got time. I can probably try it twice. But think about what you could do. I know there's a girlfriend of mine in our company that's doing an online class from MIT. I know some people are trying to learn foreign languages, but what could you do? And when you think about our health and wellness company, like imagine a really good detox. Imagine being able to release the weight that you're holding on to. What if you could be leaner? What if you could be fitter? What if there was a way that you could earn how to make extra money? Now, one of my favorites, what if you could contribute more? There's these jokes about the quarantine 15 and we're all going to gain that. But I say the people in Isagenix are going to come out like so lean, so toned because we're working out twice a day. We know about intermittent fasting. We're fueling our bodies with the best nutrition that they're going to be like, oh my gosh, like what happened while you were in your little quarantine experience? Because that is not the case for everybody. Let's highlight some just remarkable people because I am so inspired by achievers. I always find that people that are activators find a way. And this is not to shun anybody. Jessica and I actually chatted earlier today, and we were really empathetic to some people that get frozen or they get paralyzed during a time of crisis. And I am not one of those people. One of the ways that I find control is to be really active and be really productive. So I find myself really inspired by some just total trendsetters and go-getters. So this man ran like the distance of a marathon basically in his apartment. Like that's bananas. Like, it's hard enough to run a marathon and think about that as your terrain, but he was like just setting this precedence, right? Like if there's a will, there's a way. When you think about some of these first liners that are still giving. So this woman on her birthday donated, like she donated blood to all these first line workers. I mean, just absolutely incredible. And let's highlight our company. Isagenix is continuing to give. We've given over $1 million in nutritional superfood products to kids, to families that are in need. And I love to just say that we can stand behind a company that puts the service of others always at the forefront. So time is the commodity that we all have, right? So how are we spending it? I'll just show you a few little photos of me and Ryan and what we're kind of doing. On Easter Sunday, last weekend, actually we did it on Saturday, the day before, Ryan and I played Easter Bunny and we went all over the state. I'm not kidding you, over 300 miles, 9 hours. We put all these goodie bags together and we dropped them off to our friends and family. We did absolutely follow social distancing. We wore our gloves, we wore our masks, I promise you. And we dropped off goodie bags and then called our friends and we're like, we're at your door. We knew everyone was going to be home, right? And they came out, we took a selfie, they got their goodie bags, everything had been Lysoled and wiped down. and we left, but it was super fun to find a way to bring joy to others. You know, Ryan and I are walking every single day. I'm doing yoga every day. That is a place for me where I can really stay grounded and like really stay calm. And we're staying connected to people. And just like right now, we have this amazing, amazing opportunity that we can share this nutrition and products with you. We are connected with our friends. We do family dinners on Zoom, and we're playing game nights because we're making the most out of it. And so I hope a few of those ideas or some pictures or inspiration from you. So let's go back to this idea of coming out of this quarantine, just leaner, more healthy, and also more fulfilled. So I think we all can agree that there's a shift right now, and what was our normal is totally upside down. And in my heart, I believe that even when this kind of pandemic passes and some of the social distancing comes to a halt, we will all forever be shifted. Anyone going through this is going to be a little bit more cautious. We're going to be looking at ways to insulate our bank accounts in the future. We're going to be looking at ways to always invest in our health, knowing that's our greatest commodity. And so I want to highlight that our company is so brilliant because we have incredible products for weight loss, for performance, for vitality, for financial wellness. When you're looking at how we can help people, it's athletes, it's women, it's men, it's young people, it's old people, it's a financial solution. And I've yet to see a network marketing company that does the exact same, that can help so many people, that is truly matching the market trends today. So when you think about getting started with Isagenix, simply put, we customize matching your health goals with your budget to get you set up for success. Most people join with one of our 30-day systems. We have a variety of options to get started, but they meet the needs of the customer. And the only overhead, the only investment you have into this opportunity is truly the products that you are going to eat. As a clinical nutritionist, okay, as someone who is totally data driven, this is the information that just like knocked my socks off when it came to looking at our company. People on Isagenix compared to a similar sample group, we lost 56% more weight loss, 47% more fat loss, and twice as much visceral fat loss. That's around our organs, that sticky fat. When you're talking about health, like these products are absolutely going to jumpstart your health. They are an investment into your long-term health. So let's break down what's in some of those products, okay? Our Cleanse for Life is one of my absolute favorites. So our Cleanse for Life, which is a botanical herbal supplement that gently rids the body of toxins and impurities, is a game changer. I'm actually doing a cleanse day today. You can notice I'm not like running to the bathroom. It's not like a poopy cleanse, right? But you're alkalizing your system. You're increasing growth hormone. You're resetting your insulin sensitivity. And a lot of things you don't have to know, but here's what I'll tell you. If you want to ditch the fluff, you want to have incredible vibrancy and vitality, you have to cleanse. Isagenix has been talking about intermittent fasting way before it was a popular thing, but we do it in a way that's supported, that your energy is up, your blood sugar is stable, and the results happen. So the Natural Accelerator, this is something we don't talk about quite as often as I think we should, but it's a blend of products such as cayenne, such as green tea, apple cider vinegar. And not only is it a natural thermogenic, so it's going to boost your metabolism, but you'll find it's also a natural kind of appetite suppressant. So if you're someone who's like, man, I'm kind of snacking a lot right now, I'm that person that's a little stressed, I'm a little overeating, this will help curb your appetite. It's also going to give you that little boost that if you're thinking, wow, I used to be really active and now I'm sitting all the time. How can I boost my metabolism a little bit? This is one of the goodies you're going to get in those starting packs. Now, IsoFlush is one of my favorites. This is magnesium oxide. You've probably heard that magnesium is really calming, which it is, but it also oxygenates the colon. So if you've ever heard people say like, she's full of it, well, that's because we all carry extra waste and too much. And if we have that extra waste, not only do we stay toxic, not only does that decrease our immune system, but it helps you hold on to extra weight. Imagine just having to have like smooth movements every single day, how much flatter your stomach would feel, right? Like how much better you would feel. And this is something you get. And especially when you join our program and you are a part of a protein pacing diet, one of the things you want to be able to do is eliminate more smoothly and more regularly, and this will absolutely support that. So here's my favorite product. For those of you already on Isagenix, blow up the chat right now. What do you love about Ionic Supreme? So this is our adaptogenic herb supplement. Adaptogens grow in areas that have extreme climate changes, and the way that the climate changes, the plant learns to survive, that's how the adaptogens work in our body. So especially right now, during times of stress, when we have these highs and the lows, the Ionic Supreme will balance you out. So this is great if you're feeling sluggish in the morning to give you a little bit more energy. This is great at night if you have a racing mind and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm never going to be able to fall asleep. Maybe if you are overtraining right now because you're working out 3 or 4 times a day, to be able to help your body with the oxidative stress. But this product is a game changer. And if you are someone who's stressed out, you're going to have high cortisol. And if you have high cortisol, you're not going to release weight. And so the Ionic Supreme is so good at being able to just rebalance your body, feel good, and get those weight wellness goals that you want. So here's the shake. All of my Isagenix people, if you had a shake today, if you love our shakes, like blow it up. What do you love? You know, I love that our shakes, we have so many different options. We have our plant-based option, which is a pea and rice and hemp blend. Our whey option is grass-fed, you know, it's undenatured, it's incredibly clean. We've got low carb options. We've got higher protein options. We've got so many varieties. They taste so good. They're thick, they're creamy, they fill you up. But I will tell you, my absolute favorite is the variety. I am someone who's like, oh my gosh, I had to drink a chocolate shake every single day, but you can do chocolate and birthday cake and vanilla and strawberry and chocolate mint and strawberry together, or whatever concoctions come up. And it's just awesome to know there's something for everyone, especially kids. Now let's talk about our Tri-Release for a moment. This is one of the higher protein, lower carb shakes that we have, but it's great for athletes. So sometimes people are saying, I don't want a full meal replacement. I want to eat my food, but I want to be able to have something to help me with my workouts. If you are someone right now in this quarantine that is motivated to burn fat and build muscle, you've got to look at our AMPS line. It's NSF certified, it's informed sport labeling, basically meaning that it's, if someone was tested or regulated, they're going to pass everything because it's clean, it's pure, nothing artificial, science-backed research. And if you are someone who has noticed a difference in your physical body or your workouts because you take our pre and post workouts, let other people know. I want them to hear about your experience, not just mine. So let's get back into this snacking issue. So I am about to be the stepmom of a 14-year-old, and she's a snacker, right? She's someone right now that's bored, and she's upstairs a lot, and she's kind of between her classes, and I'm like, I'm hungry. And it's so obvious that like, no, you're not. And of course we're gonna feed her, but it's because we're bored. And a lot of adults are like that, right? A lot of people are craving things and they're not necessarily not hungry, right? It's because they are sad or they're stressed or they are not focused on something. And so we want to be able to educate you guys on some great snacking options. Here's one that I love, our peanut butter bites. This tastes like a delicious peanut butter cookie, okay? It is, I mean, only 100 calories. It has 5 grams of protein in it, but the key ingredient, DNF10, is in here. That is a natural appetite suppressant. I mean, there's a research study that said that the people that ate these overall had a lower caloric intake than those that didn't. Like, that's incredible. And personally, they're delicious. Like, they're just so amazing. But it's not something you want to eat the whole box of. Now here, if you're a sweet person, our Ice of Delights have a variety of flavors, but our Ice of Delights, which are mood boosting, fat burning chocolates, if you are someone that needs something sweet, this is going to not throw you off track, but absolutely quench that sweet craving that you have. But we also have a gift for our savory people. So some people want salty, some people want crunchy, and our Harvest Thins, which are protein packed chips, are incredible. So we have white cheddar as a flavor and sour cream and barbecue. And whether you just want a snack pack, you want to use them as croutons on a salad, they're incredible. And again, they're going to help you burn fat. They're going to help you build muscle by putting the high protein in and satiate those cravings. Our bone broth is one of my absolute favorites. People keep asking me, Lauren, how is your hair getting so long? Absolutely, because I'm drinking collagen bone broth every single day. I can tell you that. I've noticed a difference. Our Bia, it's one of the only all natural energy drinks out there. Less than 10 calories, 1 gram of sugar. The sweetened with monk fruit. The caffeine comes from green tea. It's like the equivalent of having servings of fruits and veggies because of the nutrition in there, and it tastes amazing. And I'll leave you with this. The greens, you guys, is amazing. As a nutritionist, I've been telling people for nearly 2 decades, you have got to get in between 5 and 10 servings of veggies a day in a variety of colors. People are not doing that right now. People are not buying perishable food like they used to because they're afraid that it's going to rot, right? And they're stocking up. So they don't want to go to the grocery store. So how are you putting in the best nutrition in your body? Things like spirulina, things like chlorophyll, kale, parsley, broccoli. We just don't eat like that every single day. In our greens, 1 scoop is equivalent to 2 servings of veggies. It's amazing and it tastes incredible. So I want to just show you a couple transformations, but look at my friend Aaron. His weight loss may not be significant, but look at the body fat transformation. And look at Kim. I mean, this is the total example and inspiration of how you can look right now in 30 days when we come out of this quarantine. So I'm going to turn it over to my dear friend, Jessica Rigner. She is incredible. She is a company millionaire. She comes from a background in finance. So if there's someone that can talk to you about market trends right now and what's going on, she is the girl. She is a mama of 3. She is a foster mama. She actually is a mama of 4 now that she adopted one of her foster babies, that is her daughter. She's incredible, and she's just such a light to this world and ignites people as soon as you hear her speak. So I get a mute and turn it over to you, Jess.
Oh, Lauren, you're amazing. I get excited about the products. I'm realizing I need to have some bone broth before I go to bed because I want to have long, healthy hair. Who doesn't want that? Especially if it keeps it less from going less gray. That would even be a bigger benefit. But I'm excited to talk to you guys about something that changed our lives and changed in every single way I can describe to you. And Lauren mentioned, I have a background in corporate America, and I was a pretty young person. I was part of a group that we had this incredible exit. The company that we were part of sold to a humongous bank, one of the largest banks in the whole world. It was a huge deal. And it left me with an amazing job in corporate America. But at the same time that I had this great job in corporate America, I also had 3 little kids at home and a conflict. And I will tell you that I was a person who would tell you I love my job. But given the fact that I didn't see another option to not having said job because we built a life that required it. And I think a lot of people in this day and age are reflecting on what having a good job or what having a job means at all. And what I will say is that what we're going to talk about, if you look at network marketing and you think, I've heard it all, I already know what it is, I'd love to ask you just to be open-minded to what we're going to talk about, because if you're like me, it's not what you think. I can tell you right now that I understand if you have an impression of network marketing that's unfavorable, that you look at it and you think, if I those 3 words, those 3 letters, MLM, you think, and you just automatically, there's a connotation where you're just, no, negative, hand up, stop sign, no way, not for me. And I want to ask you to really look at this and consider, this is about creating an income producing asset that happens to be in a global virtual franchise. And we'll talk about that. So thank you, Lauren, for the introduction. You control the slides there, Lauren. So here's what's disturbing. In this pandemic, this crisis that we have just begun to experience, has shined a light on something that's been a factor for Americans for a lot longer than this pandemic has even existed. And the stats say 46% of Americans can't cover a $400 emergency expense with what they have in their savings. I know that there's a lot of people who say, it depends on, there's people who make more money. What I've found as someone who's had experience making a lot of money is that people I know who make a lot of money are generally the same level of broke as other people. Because we spend, it's called the law of the lid. You typically spend to the law of that keeps you just over broke. That's why they call it a job, J-O-B, just over broke. But wealth is what I want to teach people how to create. It's something that I learned about, and we'll talk a little bit about how I got to learn so much about it as a young person. But wealth is, how long can we go with the money that we have saved? How long can you go? If I paid you nothing, how long can you go? And this is a guy, people used to laugh at me. I'm an only child. I used to volunteer. My mom worked at a nursing home. And if you've ever gone to a nursing home, the people drop off books in their lobby. And a lot of times they're personal development books. So I've been reading personal development books because what else was there to do? But Robert Kiyosaki he wrote a book called Rich Dad, Poor Dad. If you read that book, drop a comment. But Rich Dad, Poor Dad was a book that when I was first married, changed my perspective on how my husband and I could create income. And pretty young, I was 24 when we bought our first investment property. And we continued to do that because of of a book that he wrote, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And I will tell you, the cash flow quadrant, if you've never read his book, Cash Flow Quadrant, or go online and just Google talking about cash flow quadrant, we'll talk about it here. And so you see this little diagram that is talking about, it has an E in the top left. An E stands for employee. And I will tell you, you can be an employee, and that's one thing. You can have a boss and be an employee, go work somewhere. Most people do. The S below that stands for self-employed. I have a lot of friends who own their own business, and they will joke that they own a job. I'm the proud owner of a job at typically a business that doesn't operate without the key component. When you own your own business, the key component is the product is you. You show up. Most self-owned businesses don't operate without the owner's input or participation. And so that is 95% of our population. Flip one more. It's 5% of our population's wealth. 95% of population is on this left-hand side of the cash flow quadrant. On the right-hand side is a business that you have that is a business that's self-sustaining, a residual business. On the bottom is I, that stands for investor. Here's the interesting thing about when you consider the population, it's 5% of the population that's on this right-hand side of the cash flow quadrant, but it represents 95% of the wealth. And there are a lot of people who want to shift from the left to the right. If you're smart, you say, hey, where can I get the most wealth? You want to shift from the left to the right. And that's what we want to talk about. A linear income, left-hand side. Linear means you trade your time for money. I did that for a very long time. Without me going to my job, there was no income. And I really started to realize the time for money equation took me out of doing the things that I most wanted to do. When we really discovered leveraged income, we started having investment properties. We started doing things like that. So what I will tell you is the real estate, people used to say, Jessica and Doug, you guys are so smart with these investment properties. And they said that a lot of our investment properties were centered at the New Jersey shore. And they said that to us for a long time. We had rentals and flips until Hurricane Sandy happened. And then until tenants completely destroyed our house. And until a pipe burst in the second floor of one of our properties when it was vacant, just about to have new year-round tenants move in, they said we were brilliant until we weren't. And so I will tell you, I believed in leveraged income. Robert Kiyosaki made me want a parking lot or a vending machine. But I will tell you, what I realized is those still require, they have a lot of risk and a huge capital to get involved. When I found this industry, once I realized, Lauren, flip the slide if you would. When I realized that, keep going, that there was an industry that every person had the ability to participate and every person had the opportunity to create something. I will tell you, in Citibank, I would have never told you what kind of money that I was able to earn because I couldn't have gotten you a job making the same amount that I made. You may not have had the same education or experience or situation as me. You may not have the same context as me. But in this business, I can show anyone, somebody with a GED, a PhD, I can show anyone how to do what we've done and then some. It's a business where, as you'll see, I can show you how to pass me and I will cheer the loudest. The compound effect is something that a lot of people have only begun to understand if they've ever even heard of it. If you read The Compound Effect, Darren Hardy's book, it's just utterly amazing to really consider the compound effect. And what it says is that would you rather have a penny that doubles every day for 30 days or $100,000? And a lot of people think in the short-sighted term. They say, oh, $100,000 right now. But guys, when we do the math, what you find is that by the 10th day, you have $10. By day 20, you have $10,000. But by day 30, you have $10 million. That's exponential growth. That is the law of expanding and exponential returns. And it's what makes this business so powerful. When you shift to the right side of the quadrant, when we can show you how to create exponential growth, that's where there is ultimate power and there is ultimate freedom. What you can do on your own is one thing. You can only ever get so far. I talk to people in the beauty industry. I've been doing so many Zoom calls for people in the beauty industry or the fitness industry. And I say, how much money can you make? Well, how many hours in a day? How many people can you see? How much turnover is there? Okay, well, imagine if we create a business where I can duplicate you and your efforts and you get paid on every drop of it. Think about Facebook. Think about how many friends you have, but think about how many Mark Zuckerberg has. There are so many people when you talk about the law of exponential returns. In network marketing, what I'll say first is the preconceptions, the preconceived notions, and maybe some disparaging things that you've thought about network marketing. I understand. There are bad actors that have poisoned the well of this industry. There are misnomers, there are claims, there are things that make this industry look ugly. But what I will tell you is when you consider the business model of what network marketing really is, there's brilliance here. What you're doing is you're creating a global distribution people. You're empowering people that build a network to consume and to help populate the world with products that change their life. I remember when I was walking away from a company that was, there was zero on paper, zero reason why I should have walked away from this great job. I had to do network marketing. And in fact, a friend challenged me and she said, "Are you crazy? Do we need a full intervention?" But what I told her, and what I'll tell all of you, is this is an opportunity to create a global distribution product system around products that a lot of us, what Lauren described as these products, if you haven't used them before, you will become obsessed with them. I have watched them transform tens of thousands of people. My belief in them is a 10 out of 10. But imagine, it's a product that we help create growth in the marketplace. There's no billboards for Isagenix. You're not going to find an ad. No mass marketing is happening. Think about it. People go, "Oh, well, why isn't it distributed at retail? Why can't I buy it in a store?" If you think about it, do you know how much is built into the margin of products you find on a store? Do you know what the advertising and marketing costs are? The middle people who have to be paid. In this model, think about how brilliant this is that we only pay people who love our product. No money is paid to market the products until you love it and someone purchases the product. I could put a product on shelves, put a billboard out, spend millions of dollars to advertise it, and no one ever purchases it because they don't like it enough. In network marketing, it's brilliant. This model is genius. That's why so many businesses consider this model so smart. It allows for mass duplication. It allows for personal growth. It allows people like you and I to own a business for the cost of products that we're personally consuming. When you think about it, there are many people right now that are looking at mortgages, rents, bills that come every month. Instead of having a recurring expense, what Isagenix gives people is a recurring income. Never have I been more grateful that we sit in the perfect storm. It's where some of the greatest, most discussed trends in the marketplace right now all hit a juxtaposition right here. What is it? Health and wellness. Are people focused on immunity? Are people focused on what they're eating? If you're like me, are you sick of every day being Groundhog Day where you make terrible decisions and you feel the effects the next day? You drink, like Lauren was saying, alcohol sales are up. I'm reading a lot of people on my social media saying they're all getting sick of the feeling that you get from overconsumption of alcohol, bad decisions in the pantry. People are sick of it. There's a focus, and like never before will be a focus coming out of this on health and wellness, stacking the deck in favor of your immunity, your best body ever. $250 billion industry. And then you've got a model that is having a virtual business. And a virtual business makes sense for a product that people continue to consume. And we'll call it a committed consumer model. In this, you look at this and you say 80% of the people within Isagenix are just people who love the products, are just buying the products. What we call committed consumers are people who refer other people. When people start sharing Isagenix with other people because they love it. If you love something, I mean, to be honest, if you watch Tiger King and you told your friend you should check this show out too, it's a little crazy. If you're like me, I never watched TV, but I got into Ozark. I couldn't stop watching it. I told so many people, like, you got to watch Ozark. It's utterly amazing. I'm pacing the floor. Ozark has not sent me any money. I've referred something to so many people and I'm in. When people start sharing Isagenix, they're in. It's because they love it. Here's what happens in a compound effect. You have 10 people who say, hey, I want to try this with you. And those 10 people, often what we find is it duplicates because it's such an emotional visual. I see you on a Zoom call because we're getting together just to have a chat on Zoom. And I see you and I go, you are looking utterly amazing. Your hair, your skin is radiant. Why is your face so lean? You look amazing. Other people tend to join. It's a business that grows virally. And imagine that those 10 people know 10 people right now who are sick of the eating, the drinking, the reckless abandon, want to stack the deck, are sick of going to the grocery store and there's a guy with a gas mask on. They're sick of that. Today, there was a guy that had a Halloween costume on. He doesn't have a mask apparently, but he had a Halloween costume. And so what I'll just tell you is people are getting scared of going to the grocery store, having nutrition at their door. It's a good thing. You know 10 people. So imagine that your 10 people know 10 people and what that does in a compound effect. All of a sudden you find yourself with 1,000 consumers who are ultimately tied and part of your global and virtual franchise. Imagine that they're all purchasing product and how quickly that adds up. And they say, imagine you're paid a percentage on all of what people are purchasing through the franchise that you've established, the virtual franchise, while you are living your life, working out, getting a walk, homeschooling your kids, while you're doing all of these things, you're being paid. And if you consider in that example that you have built this network of people who are just looking for wellness to feel great, maybe an opportunity, people are looking in this example at a $72,000 a year stream of income. What we talked about in the beginning is an income producing asset. Right now, I don't know about you guys, but I am looking to diversify my portfolio to include income producing assets. And that's what this is. It's not just about, in network marketing, it's not just about earning income. You want to earn income, you can get a job. This you can do besides a job, just to diversify, and it's an asset. Why do I say it's an asset? Well, when I stopped working at that humongous bank, the day that I stopped working there, the day that I stopped giving them 60 hours a week, I stopped getting paid. In this business, my family and I, God willing this year, but we moved to the Jersey Shore where we have our second home every summer. And I watch my kids boogie board and I hang out. And on weeks when I don't even work, we still get paid. That is an income producing asset. And that's what this business gives you. There are things that show market disruption. And market disruption means when Apple came on the scene, they changed the way we communicate with each other. Amazon changed the way we shop. Google changed the way that we access information. And Isagenix has changed the way, at least for our family, at least for some of our greatest friends, for Lauren and Ryan, for so many people on this call already. Isagenix has created a disruption of how we believe that we can create income into the future. And for us, for our family, it's a better way. When you look at what this company has done, they have seen incredible exponential growth in a time when the market hasn't always been growing. In fact, a lot of times when you see the market is in retraction, as it is now, so many companies are retracting, we're growing. And there are a lot of reasons why we are growing in a time when this is retracting. Lauren had gone through a number of them. We call it the financial wave. When critical mass, people start seeing these products work like nothing they've ever seen. People ask me, what is your competition? I don't, doing nothing. There's no products I've ever seen work like this. But we believe in challenging the status quo because honestly, people say, is network marketing normal? Is working in a job that you're a number where you could be on furlough tomorrow? We don't know what will happen. Is not having a plan B, is that normal? We believe in challenging and disrupting the status quo. And there are solutions people are looking for. In a time when people are looking for solutions, in an opportunity that has those solutions, be the person that sees that bridge, be the person that says, if these other people have created this. Why not me? Because believe me, despite the fact that the company's 18 years old, Lauren talked about the studies that have been done, all of the products that are so critically essential to people living their optimal health. But I will tell you this with certainty, we have barely scratched the surface of getting started, barely scratched it. You joining us, I can imagine that you could be sitting in this position and you could be delivering a presentation just like this, and you could know the kind of freedom that we have felt. I can imagine that people just like you, Ashley and Shelly, just like your families, Karen, I can imagine that people like you can have an opportunity to create an income stream that happens with or without you showing up every day, that gives you a diversified portfolio, that gives people an opportunity. And here's what I know for sure. I've watched it change families. I've watched it give people something that right now, Holly Kirsch, who owns boutiques, fabulous boutiques in Indiana that of course were forced to close in this season of life. But I know that Holly Kirsch still owns a residual income, amazing virtual franchise. And I know that her and her husband have continued to earn an extraordinary income, helping impact a lot of people. And here's what I'll end with. There are very few industries that I've ever seen where the amount of impact that you can create directly correlates to the kind of income that you can earn. And truly, Lauren and I believe it. We wouldn't be doing these calls. I mean, she earns an income that I think is enviable to most people. She doesn't need to do these calls, and she does a lot. She's never, and I've known her for 6.5 years, I've never seen her in this kind of action. And when I asked her today, why are you working so hard? Because she wants to give this to other people who were in her shoes over 6.5 years ago, when she was a nutritionist, when she was getting paid by the hours that she worked, when she was a fitness instructor, when she was bartending and waiting tables. She knows what it's like. And guys, having a plan B, a financial backstop that builds a wall around your family that nothing can touch, no pandemic can touch this other stream of income. That's what the world needs now. And that's why, Lauren, I know that you're working so hard. And I believe people on this call, 100% can have the exact same thing. If it's possible for us, it's possible for anyone. It requires doing the work, guys, for sure. We already disclaimed that. Will it happen for everyone? No. But will everyone be the CEO of a bank? No. Will a lot of people say they want to do it and then never take the action? 100%. But I promise you, people on this call will be 6-figure earners in Isagenix if they want to do it. I promise you that 6.5 years ago, Lauren and I started with the same brown box that many people will get. We earned $1, we earned another $1, until eventually it became $1 million for both of us, $1 million in this company. And I will tell you, if it's possible for the two of us, 6.5 years ago, I wasn't so sure, just coming in, the biggest skeptic. If you're skeptical, a lot of times skeptics do the best. They become the biggest believers, the most raving fans. And for the two of us, you can become a millionaire in this company. I hope you guys have.
You guys are so awesome. Thank you guys so much for all hopping on. We will make sure this recording gets out to you. And I truly, truly hope whoever invited you onto this, for those of you not in Isagenix, circle back to the people that invited you is because they care about you. And whether you're looking for a wealth solution or you're looking for a business opportunity, I will tell you this too, Jessica didn't come for the business. Jessica came because she was running marathons and eating clean and eating paleo and couldn't release unwanted weight. And because she shares things that she loves with people, right? Someone in our mentorship found her and showed her a business that is mission-based. She showed her a business that is all about service and all about contribution, and more than anything, creative freedom. You know, Jessica had a great income before this, but she didn't have freedom. And I love that you just tied in my story at the end. So I was so focused on making sure this went out to the Facebook Live that I didn't share that. But truly, truly, there are so many people saying exactly that right now. Like, Lauren, why are you working so hard? There are people saying, I cannot believe you reached out to me again. And it's because I feel where people are right now, because that would have been me. That would have been me had I not dove in with this. And I'm so grateful for it every single day, that it truly is mission-based. And we really are here to serve you, both from a health and a wealth situation. So good night, you guys. Thank you for being on. We love you all. Take care. We'll see you soon.
Thanks,
Bye.
Lauren.
Thank you, ladies.